friends, my name is Katie. Welcome back to my channel, Life Between Words. Today I'm bringing you a monthly recommendations video. Monthly Recommendations is a Goodreads group started by Trina from Between Chapters and Kayla from Kayla Rain. I'll link that information down below. This month's theme is friendship stories, and technically we're supposed to do this in the first week of May, but I was pretty busy last week, and so I'm doing it this week. First I'm going to talk about a couple classic children's literature stories that have friendship kind of at the heart of it. The first I've already talked about a lot on my channel, but I feel like it deserves to be mentioned as often as possible, and that is Anne of Green Gables by L.M. Montgomery. This story is about a lot of things, but one of the things I love about Anne of Green Gables are the friendships that she has with so many of the characters in this book. First and foremost, her friendship with Matthew and Marilla, especially Matthew, and what a special bond they have, but also her friendship with Diana Barry is truly wonderful. And then of course Gilbert Blythe, her friendship with Gilbert that turns into a romantic relationship later on in the series, which I don't feel like is a spoiler because most people know Anne of Green Gables, but if I did just spoil it, I'm really sorry. There are friendships that she makes in every book that last throughout the series. So there's Miss Lavender, and there's her friend Pippa. Anne is a good and passionate and loyal friend, and it's one of the reasons that I love these books so much, are the friendships that are at the heart of them. The next book that I want to mention is The Secret Garden by Frances Hodgson Burnett. The Secret Garden is about a little girl named Mary who lived in India with her parents, but her parents died of a cholera outbreak, so she's sent to England to live with her uncle at Misselthwaite Manor. Mary is sullen and moody and not very kind, but her adventures at Misselthwaite bring her in contact with a few people who really bring her out of her shell. First there's Colin, who's a sickly invalid child who is also moody and sullen and spoiled. And then there's also Dickon. Together they discover a secret garden, and their love and budding passion for nature brings out the best in them. Mary and Colin especially are drawn into this magical world of the garden and the creatures that inhabit it and the plants that are growing there. And soon that love of this place draws them out of themselves and they become different people, and it's partly due to the garden, and it's also partly due to their friendship that blossoms and their friendship with Dickon as well. It's a really beautiful story. This copy is my copy from when I was a child, and it was given to me by my aunt when I was 9 years old. I am a kindred spirit with both my mother's sisters, but my Auntie Beth is the one that gave me this copy. She introduced me to so many things in my childhood that have helped to shape me, like classic children's literature and classic films, especially Audrey Hepburn films, and any number of things. I'm eternally indebted to her for introducing me to The Secret Garden. The next is a book that I just finished, but I wanted to include it in this list because it has a wonderful friendship in it, and that is The Goose Girl by Shannon Hale. This is a fairy tale retelling of the classic fairy tale The Goose Girl by the Brothers Grimm. I think it's the Brothers Grimm? Yes, it's the Brothers Grimm fairy tale. After I read this book, I went and read the original Grimm's fairy tale of it, and it stays very true to the fairy tale, but obviously it brings a lot of depth and richness and detail into the story. Our main character, Ani, when she finds herself in this new kingdom relegated to the Goose Girl, makes friends with another day laborer named Enna. Shannon Hale includes beautiful friendships in her stories, and this was definitely a good example of that. Now we're going to move on to a couple YA books that I think have really great friendships at the core of them. The first is The Knife of Never Letting Go by Patrick Ness. So The Knife of Never Letting Go is a trilogy by Patrick Ness. It's kind of a sci-fi trilogy, but with a lot of dystopian elements in it. So our main character, Todd, lives in Prentice Town. And in Prentice Town, everyone can hear everyone else's thoughts. But one of the unique things about Prentice Town is that there are no women. And one day, Todd is out wandering with his dog Manchie. Todd comes across a place where he hears only silence. And then the book and the trilogy takes off from there. There are a few notable friendships in this trilogy, mostly between Todd and Violet, but my favorite friendship is between Todd and his dog Manchie. It's really wonderful because it kind of shows the truth that we all know about dogs, and that is that they love us no matter what, completely unconditionally. That is what is represented in Todd and Manchi's friendship. Now, of course, in this book, Todd can hear Manchi's thoughts, and they're pretty simple thoughts. I mean, the first sentence in this book is, "The first thing you find out when your dog learns to talk is that dogs don't got nothing much to say about anything." These books are written really uniquely. Todd is illiterate, and so the voice in the book sounds very uneducated, but it's done very intentionally, and because of that, I really appreciate it. But you should know that when picking this book up, because some people get annoyed. So the next is a YA quartet that I read in college and absolutely fell in love with the friendships represented in this series, and that is The Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants. This is a series about a group of 4 friends who have known each other and have been friends their whole life, and then one summer, every single one of them have different plans that take them apart. But the one thing that holds them together is this pair of pants that inexplicably fits them all, and so between them, they send the pants over the course of the summer. Now, it's not like this is great classic literature, but it's just a lot of fun. And actually, there's a lot of really poignant moments in this book and really in the whole series. Okay, so now we're going to get into some adult books that have great friendships in them. The first is The Guernsey Literary and Potato Peel Pie Society by Mary Ann Schaefer and Annie Barrows. This is a sort of post-World War II novel told in an epistolary format, so it's told in letters. It's about a writer named Juliet Ashton who receives a letter from a stranger from the island of Guernsey, and so begins their communication about the German occupation of Guernsey during World War II, and the burgeoning friendship between Mary and these people on the island through these letters that they send each other. It is such a heartwarming story. I loved it so much, and also it's a book for book lovers, and I love books for book lovers. It's definitely a heartwarming read, and those are the kind of books that I really end up loving, are books that make my heart feel warm when I put the book down. And so if you haven't read this book, I highly recommend it. Okay, next I want to mention Emma by Jane Austen, with the caveat that Emma is not actually a very good friend for most of the book, but I really feel like the book is kind of about Emma learning what it means to really be a good friend. Emma is often considered Jane Austen's most perfect work. I remember I had a professor in college who described Emma as being carved out of marble. It's so precise in its storytelling. So yes, of course there's Emma's sort of misguided friendship with Harriet, and although Emma really isn't a great friend, she has people in her life like Mr. Knightley and Miss Taylor who love her and are trying to gently guide her towards what it means to actually be a good friend, and that's why I included Emma in this list. And then finally, I wanted to talk about Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. This book is huge, but don't let that daunt you. It's also a Western, but don't let that daunt you either. This is an epic tale with friendship at its core, particularly the friendship between Augustus McCrae and Woodrow Call, who are ex-Texas Rangers who live in this sleepy little town called Lonesome Dove and end up taking their ragtag band of cowboys, basically, from Texas to Montana and their adventures along the way. The friendship between Gus and Woodrow is central to this story. These two characters are so different. There's Gus, who's sort of an old womanizer, and then there's Woodrow, who is very stoic and quiet. One of the things that makes this Western stand out is that it's very emotional. It really tugs at your heart. And the characters are so rich. You don't ever feel separated from the story. You are pulled into it and pulled along by these really enigmatic characters. It is a very fleshed out world and so wonderful. It is sweeping and epic, and so many things happen, tragedy and romance, and it just includes everything. This is often listed as people's very favorite book of all time, and it is one of my favorite books. Reading this book was an experience. It was an investment, sure, but it was one in which I am so glad that I took. Not only that, but it won the Pulitzer Prize and was also made into an award-winning miniseries back in the 80s, I think. I'm not much of a Western kind of gal, but this book was phenomenal. This was another book that was actually recommended by both of my aunties. They have good taste in books. So those are my recommendations for some great friendship stories. I hope that maybe you found a book in there that you haven't heard of or haven't read, or if you have heard of it and you also love it, we can share the love together. And please leave some comments below about some books that you love that have great friendships in them. I'd love to hear. So let's have a conversation down in the comments. And also, just as a side note, I want to give a big thank you because I cannot believe that I have over 1,100 subscribers. It is blowing my mind, and frankly, I feel very, very humbled. I'm so grateful for all of you. I'm so grateful for these friendships that I'm building with you. I really hope that you continue to get something out of my channel. I am loving making these videos, so I just wanted to give you a big thank you. With that, remember to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time. Bye! Since Fox is down napping, I'm gonna go read my book instead of doing all the other things that I should be doing, like folding laundry and doing dishes and cleaning the house.